On March 20th, the United States officially, if you will, started the tearing apart of the Middle East, bombing Iran and so forth in Baghdad. One bishop out of approximately 300 bishops came out and said, you can't go to war like that. This is an immoral war. Immoral on the basis of the teaching of Jesus, and it does not in any way meet the standards of the just war theory. It's an invasion, et cetera, et cetera. One bishop, Bishop John Botin, a Romanian Catholic bishop of the United States and Canada. That's all. After that, silence, dead silence for 16 years on the part of the American bishops. 16 years of silence. Now, it would be one thing if they weren't participating in the war. But to justify a reality is to promote a reality, is to participate in the reality. And I don't know how morally they do this. I'm sure they've worked it out among themselves of what the strategy is. But if the bishops, like the Pope did, Pope John Paul II did before the war started, if they laid out that this was not a just war and it did not meet the teachings of Jesus or even the minimal standards of the just war theory, diocese by diocese, and they said to the people, this is not a just war, and if it's not a just war, the killing is unjustified. Unjustified killing is murder. When you kill in this war, you're doing the same thing as when you have an abortion. Unjustified killing, taking of a human life. If they had said that, the war would have been over long ago.
I think
probably couldn't even get started, because they may have said it on March 20th or right after that, but the whole consciousness would grow about what's going on over there, and basically more and more people would begin to fit the facts into the just war theory. But Ellen, I would say there is not one Catholic, I'm going to be extreme now, but I don't think it's extreme. I don't think there's one Catholic in the United States who knows the just war theory. 1 out of 50,000. Because I know my information is anecdotal, but I've asked hundreds and hundreds of Catholics, what are the standards of the just war theory? What are the governing principles? And moral theology that governs the just war theory. Well, it says this. Basically, the answer is, well, the Catechism says we have a just war, therefore just war. No. The Catechism says that the standards of the just war theory have to be, and this is the Catechism's word, strictly adhered to. But if you don't know the standards, how can you strictly adhere to them? And if they're not taught by the military chaplaincy, how can you strictly adhere to them in war? And if they're not taught by the local parish priest, the religious educator, or the bishop, how can you possibly strictly adhere to them? You see, suppose I was a Catholic chaplain in a secular hospital where they performed abortions. And let's say it was also a teaching hospital. It was connected to a medical school, and they were taught abortions. With the Catholic people in the hospital, at my masses, at my spiritual discussions, religious education, for the people who worked in the hospital, would I just remain silent and say, go do what you want? Do what the hospital tells you to do? That's crazy. No, I would not. But where war is concerned, and the church's institutional relationship with the state and its money is concerned, then dead silence for 16 years. And remember now, they are not outside of the killing responsibility, although they may see themselves outside of it. It's beyond me how they can. Responsibility for the deaths over in the Middle East and the deaths of the American boys here and girls, because probably a third to 50% or 40% of the soldiers and the Marines and the Navy people and what have you that have gone over there and done the killing are Catholics. They're from Catholic parishes and Catholic dioceses, and they have not been taught. They have not, they've been denied knowledge not only of Jesus' teachings of nonviolent love of friends and enemies, they have been denied explicit knowledge of the Catholic just war theory, even when they're about to go into the military and even in the military.